Hello and welcome to your free course on how to strengthen your intuitive gifts by using oracle cards. My name is Sela. I am a body-based spiritual coach and also a tarot reader, and I am going to guide you through this course today. My intention today is to teach you the tools and the practices and give you my wisdom from learning tarot and using oracle cards for many years now. And I want to help you strengthen your gifts that are already there, by the way, and help you trust yourself even deeper by using the cards, but then also to one day not have to use the cards. And I know that kind of sounds far-fetched, but I was also brand new once and a very beginner reader, and I believe that the cards themselves held the power, and you might be thinking that as well. But I actually want to give you the tools to truly believe that you hold the power and you hold the connection to source and to spirit. So I'm going to give you the practices and tools today to help you strengthen and build that trust. And we're going to be using cards because cards are so much fun, and they're kind of like the training wheels that really build those muscles and belief in ourselves to one day ride without them. Okay, so aren't cards so much fun? I want to talk about how we can pick our decks and why we pick the deck we pick, and just clarity on how to pick a deck that is right for you. I have many decks, okay, and they're all different and they all serve a different purpose. I just want to start off again by saying the cards themselves are just a tool that we use to connect with spirit and to get a message from spirit and get clarity and get support from spirit, okay? But they're kind of like the middleman. Like I said, you have a pure connection to spirit already through your intuition and through your gifts. And we can use oracle cards to build your strength and trust in your own gifts that you already have within you. So each deck holds a different frequency based on the writer and the artist of the imagery. So there's a couple of things that we want to be aware of when we're picking a new deck. First, what I do is I open myself up to spirit and I ask spirit and I set the intention to connect with a deck that is right for me and that is for my highest and best, and that is going to serve me the best, and that is just going to be perfect for me. So how I do that is I just take a moment, ask spirit to show me this deck, to connect me with the deck that is perfect for me. And I always thank spirit for doing this. Whenever we open ourselves up, whenever we ask spirit something and are, awaiting an answer, we want to thank spirit. We want to thank spirit all the time, just for being around, but especially when you ask for something. So what I like to say is thank you, and so it is. When you say, and so it is, that confirms the intention. That confirms the belief that you know that spirit will deliver. When we have belief in spirit and belief in our own intuitive gifts, that's when it becomes crystal clear and the most accurate and the most supportive. When we have doubt, or we have fear or worry or indecision clouding the message, that's when things get sticky, and that's when, our message doesn't come through as strong. We want to thank as though it is already here and say, and so it is, because it is already here. Okay, so ask the question, thank, and so it is. So one of the things we want to look for when we're looking for a deck is the imagery on the cards. So each deck has a different frequency and they carry different messages. So not only do you want to look at the imagery on the cards and on the box, you also want to look at what does this deck do? What is the intention of the deck and what is it calling in? What is the languaging as well? And we want to connect with what deck we like the best. And this is simply just by seeing what resonates with us. For example, my first oracle deck that I really resonated with and really built a strong connection with is the Archangel Gabriel deck. And as you can see, this imagery and the imagery of the cards is a little bit more old-fashioned, okay? There's angels. Archangels is a big theme of this deck. okay? It's much different than this deck, Work Your Light. This is a very popular deck, but as you can see, this is more ethereal. This is more feminine. There's more roses. Like it's a different vibe altogether, okay? So depending on what you need in that moment, what you are gravitating towards, you want to pick a deck that way. Okay, so you can invite in spirit to help you with this, like we did with the question and opening ourselves up and thanking, but also using your own internal compass as a guide. And that's how spirit also works through us, is through our own gifts in our own body, in our own channel. So finding the deck that resonates with you based on imagery, messaging, and intention. This deck, this intention of the deck is so that you can work your light, step into your power, be a light worker, use your gifts. And there's a very feminine lens that is illustrated not only in the imagery, but also the messaging. So how do you know when you have found the right deck? It's going to feel right. You're going to trust your inner senses, your inner gifts that are telling you that this is the deck for you. And there are a few ways that you can do this. So that's what I'm going to get into next. I'm going to get into the clairs. And the clairs are what you're already using. They're the way your intuition and your psychic abilities show up. And they show up when you're reading cards, when you're picking out your cards, when you're connecting with spirit, literally all the time. When it comes to your intuition and your psychic gifts, they are specifically unique to you. I'm going to teach you a little bit about some of the ways that it might show up, your gifts might show up, but you're going to have to do the research yourself on how they show up really distinctly for you, because you're such a unique individual. But the clairs are the streams in which our psychic abilities come through, okay? So there's clairvoyance, clairsentience, there is claircognizance, clairaudience, and one that, isn't talked about a lot is clairalienance. So I believe we have the ability to have all of these clairs online, but there are going to be certain ones that are more strong for you. So you want to really go within and ask yourself, what really shows up for me the most? So clairvoyance is probably the most widely known psychic ability, and that's to be able to actually see spirit. Okay, so you're using your vision. So not only is it outside of you and seeing orbs or lights or auras or actual spirits, but also in your third eye, so in your mental inner world. So it's using your dreamlike vision to see spirit, or maybe see like a picture or a flash or an image in your third eye. That's clairvoyance. Clairsentience is another clair that I want to talk about, and it is very common for empaths. And when someone says they're an empath, this is usually what they're talking about. It's psychic feeling. It's being able to feel energy. So walking into a room and knowing someone's mad just because of the energy in the room. Being able to sense when someone is really going through something because of their energy. Maybe it's someone that is actually, in the physical world, or it can be spirit, feeling spirit through our body. So it's psychic feeling and psychic sensing through the body. The next clair is claircognizance, and this is psychic knowing. And I feel for myself, this one is pretty strong when it comes to working with oracle cards. It's that psychic knowing, it's that gut feeling. It's when it feels right or when it feels wrong. So you can, use your body for this, like a gut knowing, or just like a full body yes, or a full body knowing. But when we're drawing cards, this is one that I find a lot of people use when they get a sense to stop shuffling and pick the card. Okay, so I'll talk about this a little bit more in depth later, but claircognizance, psychic knowing. Next we have clairaudience, and this is psychic hearing. Like clairvoyance, this can actually be like physically hearing spirit or a message from outside of you, or it can be within you as well. So for me, spirit talks to me a lot through my own voice in my head, but it's different than my thoughts. there's a different source that it's coming from. And it's usually accompanied by a body knowing, a claircognizance that confirms what I heard to be true and from spirit. Clairaudience is hearing. You can also hear your name being called from outside of you. That's clairaudience. Or it can be messages that you receive through your own voice from spirit. Okay, so yeah, check in. Do you have that one? Next we have clairalience. And this is psychic smelling, psychic tasting. So if you ever smelt a whiff of cigarette smoke or your grandmother's perfume, and it's not possible that could actually happen in that moment, that is the clair that you're tapping into. So I find for myself this one is a little bit more sparse. This one doesn't happen for me as much, but when it does happen, it's undeniable and there's no second guessing around. If you heard it or saw it, you smelt it or tasted it, and it came in to be very true. So it's undeniable, I find, but is rare for myself. Maybe it's very strong for you. Just tap in, see which clair is strongest for you. I also want to add that they usually do come in pairs or in threes. So if you have a clairvoyance vision accompanied by like an inner knowing, a claircognizance, or a clairsentience, you have this feeling, you feel someone's energy or the energy of spirit, and then there's a knowing accompanied with that. That's usually how they work. So you're going to be a mix and mash of all of them, or at least a few of them. So just tap in, take this moment, maybe get out your notepad and write down which ones are strongest for you and how they come in for you, in which pairs or in which ways do you experience the clairs. So my intention for teaching you those clairs was to awaken you to the fact that you are already using your intuitive gifts in your everyday life. When you have this inner knowing to go do something and you do it, or you feel resonant with someone and all of a sudden you're best friends, you're already using your intuitive gifts. So I want you to be aware now when you're using oracle cards, which clair is coming online for you so that you can strengthen that and begin to trust it even deeper, to connect to spirit and also to get spirit messages of love and support more clearly and more accurately. All right, so let's bring everything that we've learned about our gifts into working with our cards now. So the most important thing about working with spirit and working with our cards is setting intentions. Okay, so intention is the pure channel of energy and focus that will help you get a really crystal clear message and connection to spirit. The first step that we want to take when working with our oracle cards, whether it be a new deck or just a new day that we want to use them, we want to cleanse our energy, the energy in our space, and also the energy of the cards. Especially if someone else has used the cards, we want only our energy, so my energy on this deck and your energy on your deck, just to build that connection even deeper. When you put other people's energy onto it, the intention and the connection gets a little bit more muddied. So you want to be very pure. So that's why we cleanse our energy and the energy of the space and the cards before we start connecting with spirit. So there are many ways to clear energy. So for myself, clearing my own energy, I like to set an intention, ask spirit to help me, and visualize just this white light coming down into the crown of my head and into my aura, and pulling away and melting away any energy that no longer serves me, that isn't mine and isn't for my highest and best. And also I visualize it. So I'm using a lot of clairs there, and I bet you already are too. I also use smoke, Palo Santo, to clear the energy of my space and my cards. So I'll put the smoke around my cards as well. But using intention and asking spirit to help you clear your cards is amazing as well. Really the only thing we don't need any tools or props or smoke or this. Like, it's beautiful, and if you resonate with it, great. But the only thing we really need is our intention. So creating an intention to clear the cards, usually what I do, especially if it's a new deck, is put the cards in my non-dominant hand and knock 3 times on the deck and visualize any energy that is not mine and that is not of the highest and best to fall away. Okay, and you can also like flick the energy away after it's out of your hand, and then just imagining a white light from your hand coming and charging the cards, and just again using the intention to charge and cleanse the energy of the deck. Okay, so using your intention again is the biggest way to cleanse. Another practice that I love to do when, especially if I'm about to give readings, is cleanse my energy and restore my energy with a bath. And I usually add salts and oils as well, because it helps remove the energy, the negative energy and the energy that's no longer serving me. I visualize it being drained off my field and out of my body and down the drain, because water is a great cleanser, as well as water and salt. Okay, so there's some practices that you can use to cleanse yourself, your space, and your deck, but find what works for you, okay? That's what's most important. The next step I want to talk to you about is grounding and protecting your energy. So another way that you can do this is with intention, visualization, and slowing down, and actually feeling your energy. Usually it's up here when we're in the mental realm and we're in our day-to-day life. We want to envision it and actually feel our energy moving down into our hips, into our womb, if you have one, into our legs and our feet, and just envisioning and feeling our energy being grounded down into the earth. Again, intention is super, super important here. You can ask Spirit to help you, or just set the intention to ground and to connect your energy into Mother Earth. This will help you just give a reading that is more grounded, that is truly connected to Source, because we must be grounded in order to receive the high vibrational messages of Spirit. So you want to ground your energy. It's very important, and you also do it because you don't want to get sick. If we're ungrounded, we have a tendency to actually physically get drained and sick when we're energetically drained. That is how you ground your energy. You also want to set an intention and ask Spirit to help you protect your energy. You can also do this by setting up crystals like obsidian or any black tourmaline that you may have already. You don't need these things. Again, you don't need any extra props when it comes to connecting with Spirit and your gifts, but they can be helpful for you to set stronger intentions and just have something tangible for yourself to learn, okay? But again, all you need is your intention. Have the intention set to have your energy protected from any energy that is not of the highest and best, the highest light and the highest vibration. So once you are cleansed, you are grounded and protected, and you're feeling ready, now is time to intentionally say a prayer for Spirit to come in and for your gifts to be utilized. So Spirit is in the conversation the whole time through the whole ritual, but this is usually when I invite Spirit into the specific reading for myself or for another. So you want to say a prayer or a mantra that you have created. I will share with you mine, but it's going to be individualized and unique to you. So play around and have fun with it, and you'll find your own little wording to invite Spirit in. So my prayer is a little bit different every time, depending on my intention and depending on my energy for the day. But I always start off by asking Spirit to connect with me and saying thanks. Always saying thank you and showing gratitude for Spirit's support and love every single day. And asking that my intention of only connecting to the highest and best energy be available for me to receive a message that is going to give me clarity or support or more insight around a certain area of my life, but getting really clear with my intention and stating that to Spirit. And also asking that the messages be delivered in a way that I understand, that will be accurate and clear for me, and I will know what they're talking about, and to use my body and my heart and my mind to receive this message, and always again saying thank you, thank you, thank you, and so it is. and really, driving home that you believe that Spirit is already working in your life, showing thanks for that, and so it is, and it's done. Awesome. Okay, so next you want to begin your reading, and we do that just by shuffling the cards. So I just want to let you know that there is no wrong way to shuffle cards. Even if you're not very good at it, it doesn't matter, okay? So you can just begin. Usually what I do is just like go like that. You can also cut the deck in half and fan them. Whatever works for you. There is no right way or wrong way to do it. So just do what feels good to you. So as you're shuffling the cards, what's important is you kind of get lost in the motion, okay? Don't focus too much on that. It's really just allowing the ego to be removed. Okay, so just focusing on shuffling, and by you focusing on shuffling and already setting your intention to connect with Spirit and being connected with Spirit, you're going to start receiving intuitive hits in the form of the clairs. So either by knowing, by, hearing or seeing or sensing or tasting or smelling, something that comes through that tells you to stop. Or maybe a card flies out and you feel in your body that yes, or you hear yes, or there's just this knowing that that card is for you. Sometimes you might not know until you see the card. So trusting that whatever happens is divinely guided because you have set the intention to connect with Spirit and to receive a message for your highest and best, and so it is, and that's what will happen, okay? So trusting that whatever happens is meant to happen, and say you got the card that jumped out or you stopped on a card, sometimes seeing it is like the confirmation. So you see the card and you're like, oh my God, yes, that's for me. Okay, so trusting that nudge to stop shuffling or to pick up that card that may have flown out. And reflecting and noticing what happens that tells you yes or tells you no. And that will come through the clairs. Trust is the most important part of this process because a lot of times we won't understand a message right away. And we have to trust that it is for us and that Spirit is speaking to us. If we need more information, ask. Ask Spirit for more information on a card you received or what area of your life this is about. If there is a need for clarification, ask Spirit and you will receive it. A great practice that I did when I was starting out, and I still do from time to time, is pulling cards for myself daily and writing in my journal what they were for that day, and really expanding on the card that I got and what message I received from the card. Sometimes the message will literally be right on the card. New project, for example. The message being there will be a new project that you're starting in the future. Depending on your intention, right? That the card will make sense. But also you can use your intuition to see if any of the imagery pops out to you. Any other insight might come through as you use the cards. So again, the cards are just a tool to access your psychic abilities in connection with Spirit. Sometimes the message is literally on the card, and sometimes the message comes through as a result of seeing the card. Okay, so maybe there is a thought that comes through as a message from Spirit. Maybe you remember a memory from your childhood that connects to part of the message of your intention of what you wanted to receive. So it gets kind of complex, but also really, really fun when you are exploring your gifts and just noticing what clairs are coming through as you receive your card, or you're shuffling, or you're reflecting after on what the overall message is. Afterwards, like I said, write in your journal what cards you received and the message that you pieced together from looking at the cards and also being aware of what clairs were coming through to really gain an overall message. Awesome. So when you are done your reading, when you're done collecting your message, you want to close the reading and gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. You want to thank Spirit. Thank them for showing up, for delivering you a message of the highest and best in love and guidance. And yeah, gratitude for yourself as well for showing up. And if you're doing a reading for someone else, you want to show them gratitude as well, but also detach from their energy and cleanse your aura, your deck, your space, and send back any energy that is not yours. A beautiful thing that I like to do is to use my hands. I find that's really helpful, and just pushing the energy away and bringing mine back to my heart and just kind of sweeping over my face and crown. Yeah, and just using my hands to clear any energy and detach the energy. You can also use intention here, of course, and any smoke cleanse that you want to do, anything that feels right to you. You want to detach the energy, set a boundary with spirit if you're done connecting for the day, that you're done receiving messages now until you're ready to receive them again when you tell them. Setting boundaries is really important to do as you're opening and closing your sessions with spirit. Congratulations, you are all done this course. I hope you received some beautiful insight into how to strengthen your intuitive gifts, how to trust your gifts and trust yourself and trust spirit just a little bit more, and how to use oracle cards to do this. I know when I started using oracle cards, had a lot of doubt and not a lot of trust in my ability, and they have been a key helping factor in increasing my intuition, increasing my gifts, and my confidence to give readings not only for myself, but for other people now as well. So have fun, enjoy yourself, enjoy spirit, and have fun learning about your gifts. Bye.